Hello YouTube, Kazel came back with another week in my Beginner to Pro series. If this is your first time, it's basically this personal project of mine where I'm trying to go from being an absolute beginner at coding, no experience whatsoever, no coding experience, no math experience, to trying to land a job at some point this year. And I'm basically putting weekly update videos on this channel showing how I'm getting on and what I'm learning. And this is my 9th week, so this is 9 weeks worth of progress. For this video, I'm going to be doing what I've done in my previous videos. I'm going to show you my calendar for the week and what I spent time doing during the week. However, what I also normally do is take you through something that I've been working on or something that I've built this week, you know, one of my little projects. But I don't have as much showable progress on my current project this week, which is my time recorder app. If you didn't watch my week 8 video where I sort of showed my time recorder app that I'm working on at the minute, so this is the project that I'm on right now. Might be worth going to check that out. But wasting no more time, starting with Monday. As you can see, recorded my time entries from making my week 8 video, so last week's video on Monday. Really just put that there so you can see that I actually did something on Monday. And then the rest of the week can pretty much be split into either working on the back end of my current project or job searching or doing things related to job searching, like prepping my CV, updating my CV. One thing that I did do as well is get myself set up with Jupyter Notebook. I kind of really wish I did this back in week 1. I'd seen other YouTubers, I'd seen people who were doing tutorials and stuff like that use Jupyter Notebook. But I never bothered getting it myself because I was just using Visual Studio Code and I didn't really want to sort of like inundate myself with new bits of kit. I just wanted to keep it simple, and you know, I picked up Visual Studio Code and I knew how to use it, so I just sort of stuck with that. But I do think Jupyter Notebook would have been really good to pick up. It's a lot easier to solve problems in my project in Jupyter Notebook rather than solving it like in my project file in Visual Studio Code. So if there's something that I don't know how to do, maybe I have to go away and I have to like YouTube something, or I have to go away and I have to Google something. It's just so much easier to just take the lines of code that I need for my project and then drop them straight into Jupyter Notebook and change what I need to change in Jupyter Notebook and play around with it in there, and play around with it in the project file and like constantly run the project file. So if I could give some advice to my past week 1 self, it would be to pick that up and just get familiar with it straight away, because it's really good. All in all, I spent just over 30 hours working this week. But now time to talk about my job hunt. So I've been checking out the software development job market here in the UK, and there are so many different jobs with like wildly different requirements, wildly different entry requirements. It honestly feels like the Wild West. In the UK, if you want to become a solicitor, if you want to get a job as a solicitor, you have to be fully qualified, right? So you have to go through the like long qualification process, and then your post-qualification experience that you have really does dictate how much money you can expect to get and the sorts of stuff you can expect to do. So job progression for the most part follows a well-trodden path. But as far as I can tell, for software/tech jobs, it's kind of anything goes. There are some companies that ask for loads of upfront experience and then offer you like barely any pay, and then there are other companies that ask for like relatively low amounts of upfront experience and then offer you loads more money, which is really random. In the legal world, I feel like job expectations are so well established, and people just have a really clear idea of like what your time and effort is worth at different stages of your career, whereas in software, it's kind of up for grabs. It's up for debate. It seems to me like companies just have wildly different approaches as to how to bring people on. I know a lot of YouTubers kind of like make videos about this sort of thing, about some of like the ridiculous expectations some employers have. And I always thought it was funny. I did find those videos funny. They kind of like look at ridiculous job ads and sort of like, you know, ridiculous posts and ridiculous requests from employers. But it really is like that. It's a very mixed bag out there, as far as I can tell, with my really limited searching that I've done so far. Obviously haven't got a job myself, so I haven't actually worked in the industry yet, but just based on job ads, it does seem to be pretty Wild West. One thing that I have spotted and that I am really interested in is I've noticed that a lot of companies offer grad schemes / apprenticeship like roles. So these are roles that would pay lower than what you might expect to get if you were a sort of like fully fledged developer. But in return for a low pay, there's a structured learning part of the job, so it's acknowledged that you're going to be learning more on the job and that you're going to need to like that there's actually going to be a part of your job that's dedicated to learning and getting better and picking up new technologies and learning things. There'll always be this balance between, I guess if I try and hold out and go for a fully fledged, for lack of a better term, software development job, then yeah, you'd be on more money, and if you've got the portfolio to do that, then that probably would be better. But one thing that I've learned from watching YouTubers who hand out advice on how to get a job as a software developer, particularly as a self-taught software developer, is that you're actually better off just getting out to the job market as early as you can, because you hear stories of people just waiting like a year and a half before they even start applying for jobs when they're self-taught. When realistically, if I could just go for a couple of months and then get like a year-long grad scheme, I would come out the back of that having worked for a year. That's got to be better than just spending a year and a half on your own. All right, guys, that is going to about cover it for week 9. Thanks for watching. We're getting there, slowly but surely. The weeks are passing by, definitely getting a lot better. So thanks for watching, and I'll catch you next week for week 10.